Obviously, a lot of it might be classified, but we'll see how much they actually give us. A possibility here that maybe this is technology that we are developing in secret, or that the Chinese or the Russians are developing in secret, or is it just extraterrestrial? What do you think?
That's the core issue. What our pilots, our American heroes in the sky are seeing are beyond advanced technology. They're beyond next generation advanced technology. We can no longer ignore this because of all the sensor systems that we have. So it's such an interesting time because our United States military is being confronted, and our representatives are being confronted by the UFO presence. Now, what are UFOs? Where are they from? Do they represent? We're in real trouble if this is a foreign nation. Unfortunately, I don't see the evidence that it's ours. And honestly, this is happening around the world. So this technology is apparently from somewhere that we don't know. And that's what we need to answer. And hopefully that's what the report will start to answer this summer.
Jeremy, here's a clip, 2015 U.S. Navy pilot. Just listen to this here.
What if... Because these are all digital images, and yes, they're being picked up on sensors. But what if there's solid holograms? What I mean is a hologram, something that can be projected, but it is made of light, and so it has infinite mass, no mass, one and the same in my opinion. And so you're able to go through it, but I mean, it's still, even with that being said, with a hologram, just a light figure that's able to be, picked up on light absorbing radar, electromagnetic equipment, receivers. And when the receivers pick it up, it transmits a solid object, even though it's just light. I mean, it's very possible.
My gosh. We're all going against the wind. The wind's 120 knots from the west. Look at that thing, dude. Look at that thing. It's rotating.
And we can go back to 2004, UFO spotted apparently. I mean, that's the...
What if the light, because we're not seeing that stuff physically, it's coming from the military, and it's like automatically, our confidence is up because it's the military. And the thing is, wait, but they're still part of the government. And where's actual video, not this night vision, not this radar picking up equipment and things like that. Yeah, because it seems like, because what better way to defend one nation than to put solid objects, project a light that create the target for these, incoming guided missiles, smart technology, weapons. I mean, that's the thing is, if there's a missile that's made to be an interceptor for other missiles, then it's able to, if we're able to just project light, that conserves a lot of ammunition, and we're able to just, it moves as fast as light and doesn't expend anything, and just, utilizes energy, it's an energy weapon.
Details tonight about suspected directed energy microwave attacks targeting CIA officers and top national security officials. We first started hearing about them, and we told you about them here on Special Report in 2016, shortly after then President Obama opened the embassy in Havana, Cuba. National security correspondent Jennifer Griffin at the Pentagon has the latest tonight about a suspected attack here at home.
And real quick, just with those, energy weapons I was just discussing, that would go into it, explain how these, unidentified flying objects, unidentified aerial phenomenons are occurring, is because that they're moving as just like a flashlight in a kid's hand, just one, waving around and stuff. and it's almost, and that's what I'm saying. It's like a physical projection, a hologram, a holographic image, and that goes into Project Blue Beam, Blue Light. Pardon me, I can't recall at at this point in time. I think I got it though, but holograms, man, it's.
U.S. officials say there are now 130 suspected victims, mostly CIA operatives and U.S. diplomats being treated for brain injuries, debilitating headaches, and vertigo, the targets they believe of a directed energy microwave weapon.
There's a mysterious direct energy weapon that is being used, and it is causing.
Google Fi, a phone plan by Google.
We may be closer than ever to recreating some of the most iconic tech in sci-fi history.
Help me, Obi-Wan Kenobi. You're my only hope.
We've seen hologram technology move leaps and bounds over the last few years. Maybe you caught Jesse's look at 3D volumetric displays a few weeks ago. Now, researchers from the Interact Lab at the University of Sussex have created three-dimensional holograms you can hear and even feel. They call their device the acoustic trap display.
Just remember, everything they do to us, they have to tell us what they're going to do.
Essentially, it's using sound to manipulate a tiny particle that traces out these images. Here's how it works. The display is made up of an array of small ultrasound speakers that produce sound waves, LED lighting, and a 2mm bead. The sound waves keep the bead suspended in midair, and they can manipulate the bead's position. The bead moves around the display too fast for our eyes to see, so what we see is a 3D image. And remember, this is genuinely a three-dimensional image. It doesn't just appear to have depth. That means it can be viewed from any angle. Now, believe it or not, this tech is actually inspired by old-school TVs. You may not be old enough to remember CRT televisions, but they created images.
That's what the fuck I was trying to say the other day.
Is with a single color beam that scanned across the screen so quickly, our brains registered them as a single image. Another point worth noting, Nature reporter Lizzie Gibney saw this acoustic display up close. She said the images don't flicker in real life like they do on video. But here's where it gets really cool. The speakers can also make the bead vibrate to produce different sound waves, which means these images can freaking talk.
3, 2, 1, 0.
Now, I can't be the only one who immediately started thinking about Princess Leia sending a distress call to Obi-Wan when I saw that. If it doesn't blow your mind, we're not done yet. The ultrasound waves can also generate tactile feedback, meaning you could essentially feel the flutter of the butterfly's wings. And it's true, we're still a long way off from the holodecks we all know and love in the Star Trek universe. But there's no other volumetric display that can produce touch the way this one can. And the researchers behind it say the ability to manipulate matter without actually touching it opens up a ton of other opportunities. For example,
I didn't know this existed, but in a sense I knew it existed. That's why I looked it up. And we all knew it existed. Now we just have confirmation. And this goes into another deception that could be being played on us currently with this UFO technology, because there's a bunch of particulates in the air, and if they're able to do it with a bead, they're able to manipulate smoke, for instance, saturate heavy particulates in the air, and create physical images with them. And because there's actually substance, like the smoke is actually there, if you move it along fast enough, and that's what I've said, countless times, is you move something fast enough, it becomes a solid object. And so that could be a very easy deception that we're being played, it's being played on us. And if this is, being spoken about, this came out a year ago. Is that what I saw on CNET? Yeah, it's coming out a year ago and stuff. Even, 3 years. So, there's. Oops. Yeah. Anyways. It's very easy to see that the UFOs can be a very big deception on us right now. Do they have the technology? It's just another cloaking device, to hide their black budget. And like I said, Operation. Let me actually look that up real quick because I'm going down this whole Operation and Project Bluebeam. Project Bluebeam. Is that what it is? No. Sorry.
Yo. Crazy about that saucer, eh?
Whole town's on edge about it. Everyone that comes in here, that's all they want to talk about.
Well, you can tell them all it was just a weather. No aliens in Fargo right now.
Yeah, that we know of.
So the lights on the game would have given off approximately 50,000 lumens. On a clear night, 5,000 feet, that would diffuse to approximately 1.
Next week is National Police Week, a time to recognize and honor the service and sacrifice of all of our law enforcement officers.
Project Blue Light is responsible for assisting in the apprehension of almost 10,000 people entering this country illegally from 126 different countries, 11 terrorist states. I want you to stop and think about that for a moment. 11 terrorist states. And we can do so much more with your help. God bless the United States Border Patrol, and God help America.
That's not the same Project Blue Light about aliens, but in this Project Bluebeam, I could have sworn I looked that up. And wow. It's kind of buried here, huh?
I don't know if you guys saw this over the weekend, but there was hundreds of people reporting they saw a floating city in the skies above China. It was on Chinese news station. It was beautiful tall buildings inside of it with tarred roads and cars. It was like a flying city, and from it I could hear the sound of machines making noise just as you would hear at a Shaka cement factory. Obviously that wasn't a reflection of their city because they don't have tall buildings, they don't have tarred roads. So either all of these people were on crack and they hallucinated this, or somebody's playing with their toys over an area where they know people aren't going to have cell phones and whip out their iPhone and be able to film it. And I know some people have said it, and it was the first.
Just like freaking cow mutilations and, UFOs happening around, crazy parts of, rural America, and it's always around the drunk guy because it's like, oh, no one believes him anyways. And so freaking they're able to get freaking data because that's what it's about. It's about collecting human data. Because apparently we know something that, people want because they don't have it, or else they freaking, You know, I'm like I said, I'm not too certain what it is. Like, they need us, but they don't treat us with respect.
First thing I thought of too, Project Bluebeam. There are people that claim that Bluebeam was never really an actual thing the government ever considered, that it was entirely made up. And I just want to point out to you that it's not. I actually came across this article in unrelated research, and it turns out they're talking basically about Bluebeam in here. And I don't know if you guys have seen this, but it's an article from the Washington Post from 1999 called "When Seeing and Hearing Isn't Believing." And they're talking about psyops in here and the different things they came up with. Get to this part where it says, Allah on the holodeck. It talks about all these psyops that the Pentagon was planning against the Iraqis after the invasion of Kuwait in 1990. And one of the things they came up with was, what if the U.S. projected a holographic image of Allah floating over Baghdad, urging the Iraqi people and army to rise up against Saddam? A senior Air Force officer asked in 1990. According to a military physicist who was given the task of looking into this idea, the feasibility had been established of projecting large three-dimensional objects that appear to float in the air. But could they do it over Iraq? And it says that they calculated that projecting such a hologram over Baghdad several hundred feet would take a mirror more than a mile square in space, as well as huge projectors and power sources. And they weren't sure what Allah looked like. But then it goes on to say that the Gulf War hologram story might be dismissed were it not the case that Washington Post had learned a super secret program was established in 1994 to pursue the very technology for PSYOPs application. The holographic projector is described in a classified Air Force document as a system to project information power from space for special operations deception missions. So they were good.
So is that not enough to, kind of confirm my theory, or, give me substantial reason to develop this theory that
the U.S. government is now acknowledging the existence of unidentified aerial phenomena, UAP.
And I swear to God, when I was a little kid, I was actually with my freaking stepbrother. I mean, I swear there was a freaking triangular UFO that I saw. And I was up at Poughkeepsie, and there was a lot of sightings around that area. But I also lived near an airport, too. But the plane looked too big for that airport. It was a small Dutchess County.
What we often call UFOs. The U.S. Senate has ordered now the Director of National Intelligence and the Secretary of Defense to deliver a report on the topic, and soon, by next month. Fox 13's Jordan Bowen checked in with a UFO researcher about what we could expect to see in this much-anticipated report.
Since 2007, the U.S. government has been studying unidentified aerial phenomenon behind the scenes, collecting videos like these of possible UFO sightings. The Pentagon admits what's depicted in the videos captured by U.S. military is something they can't explain.
When you see a video of something that can't be explained, it doesn't mean it's aliens. It just means something's going on in the sky that we can't identify.
We're all going against the wind. The wind's 120 knots from the west.
In 2015, the U.S. Navy captured this video on a targeting camera of a UAP off the coast of Jacksonville.
Maybe with everything I've, gone through in this video, and I've discussed and what y'all already know, is that, maybe that's why there's chemtrails, because that's a part of our weapons at this point in time. Is because we saturate the environment with these nanoparticles, and so we're just able to organize them into machines. Now that's pretty fucked up right there. And hey, I'm freaking, I just thought of that shit. I mean, but if we're able to organize them into freaking patterns, then and that's coming out to the public, then, you look at things 50 years down the road, because, that's kind of like the thought process for the military. And it's like, well, shit, now these things are organized. And, like, and that's the thing is, you know, even just being able to build a wall, an instant wall, you know, that, like, and talk about an Iron Dome, you know, we're talking about freaking, because we have all this metal in the air. It's like a Iron Dome that we have. And maybe that's why there's, like I said, these chemtrails and stuff. You know, and maybe that's, you know, there's a lot more that goes on to this fucking world. You know, and I'm starting to realize that, like, maybe, you know, this is the sacrifice we need to pay, you know, and just kind of adapt to this situation because, you know, it's nice to, you know, be able to, you know, have basically a wall around us, you know, something that we can manipulate to stop ballistic missiles, nuclear missiles, before, you know, they can actually wreak havoc on us. You know, because nuclear fallout would be a lot worse because the United States does have a lot of enemies. You know, there's a very, it gets deep, you know, and you know, I think we kind of all get lost in ourselves sometimes, you know, and so, you know, I'm not trying to go, like, I'm just, look, I don't want to say I'm heartbroken. I mean, I'm just kind of like astounded at this point in time. And, you know, this is where my emotions have led me. So, but I'm going to, you know, just leave it right here, you know, play this out a little bit more. And I'll just end it with this. All right, y'all? Take care, be safe, be kind, stay strong. Love y'all.
This video and others like it are now being studied by the UAP task force. Just last month, this video of 3 pyramid-shaped UFOs gathered by UAP was leaked to the public. According to the Pentagon, the video was captured by Navy officers aboard the USS Russell off the coast of California in 2019.
The fact that this was some sort of hoax, that this is really a giant pyramid spinning around in the sky, that's pretty amazing.
Bill Konkoleski with the Mutual UFO Network, a nonprofit organization dedicated to studying UFO sightings, has been researching the topic for decades. He says the upcoming report set to be turned over to the U.S. Senate.
What if the DOD, Department of Defense, is just doing a nice little TikTok on us, right? Look how many people just believe everything they see on freaking TikTok, and they're like, oh man, yeah, I can do that. And they spend like hours and hours just trying to get the same, you know, shot, you know, trying to flip the, you know, bottle over and stuff when it's just really good editing. You know, and it's freaking, because it's about making people waste their time. And this is all digital. You know, there isn't, you know, I'm not convinced with all of this.
Next month is a major step forward for UFO research. U.S. Senator Marco Rubio, who's part of the Intelligence Committee, ordered the report, telling 60 Minutes in an interview Sunday night on CBS the U.S. should take UFOs seriously.
I want us to have a process to analyze the data until we get some answers. Maybe it has a very simple answer. Maybe it doesn't.
For Konkoleski, it's hard to say just how much we could learn come next month.
They have a lot to release, and I think that it's going to be more like a drip feed out to the public than they're going to release everything at once.
Reporting in Tampa, Jordan Bowen, Fox 13 News.
Well, and that's why y'all have me. And that's why I have y'all. And that's why we have each other. And that's how we're going to win. And that's why we're going to win.